Talking with Words.
Welcome back to Talking with Words. You're here with Rob.
Cameron.
Alan.
James.
And Ryan.
Alan, you okay over there?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Tonight, since we're doing the October business, we're going to watch It Follows from 2014, which I'm the only person who's seen it, correct?
Yep. So.
Yeah? Sweet. This, if you're not familiar, is described as a young woman is followed by an unknown supernatural force after a sexual encounter. Sounds like Saturday night.
Spicy.
Story of my life.
This stars my cousin, Keir Gilchrist. Didn't know that there was a Gilchrist in this movie. We're everywhere. Don't really recognize anybody else in the cast. Micah Monroe. Anyway, it's an independent film that kind of exploded when it came out and definitely got me when I saw it. It's like the first one that I was like, ugh. I thought about it for a while after.
All right,
Cried yourself to sleep.
Yeah, it got Rob.
I'm out.
I'm
So,
scared.
You guys are going to love it.
See you guys.
You guys are going to finish and be like, what the fuck was the problem? It's going to be like a really happy movie. That bothered me for a long time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Happily ever after my ass. You got the Parents Guide?
I do.
All right, let's do it.
Parents Guide, rated R for disturbing, violent, and sexual content, including graphic nudity
Balls.
and language. I support it. Sex and nudity, severe. Violence and gore, moderate. Profanity, moderate. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, mild. Frightening and intense scenes, severe.
Saver.
If it's graphic nudity, it's dick and balls, right?
Almost always.
Yeah.
What does
'Cause
mild-
nudity is always just tits.
Yeah, if it's graphic. Well, you got to hit the pelvis if it's graphic.
Yeah.
What does mild alcohol taste like?
True.
You had some today.
Oh.
Wine.
NA tequila.
Ugh.
There's nothing mild about the taste.
The
But
non-alcoholic tequila, yes.
Oh, y'all both had none?
Tastes like
Yeah.
sadness and despair.
if it was brewed in a campfire with pepper flakes. We're going to finish the bottle. We're not quitters. But, all right. Anything else? I guess not, because you guys haven't seen it yet. Let's get followed. It Follows. What did you guys think?
Shit Follows. Really good.
I had not seen a story like this before.
Indeed.
I enjoyed it.
Thrilled.
Alan?
Well, I mean, from what you had mentioned, that it really kind of got you. I was expecting a much scarier movie,
Yeah.
so I wasn't scared.
It's one of those that
It makes you think.
I thought about way too long after, like we were doing during the movie.
Yeah.
And, I'd be in the shower like, well, what happened? What happens now? Or I do that all the time. What if you're that person? How do you survive that situation? Like we do with like zombies and shit. I do
Yeah.
with every movie.
But now I'm
We've got-
wondering.
You've got more questions than answers after this film.
So let's talk about it, and then let's talk about what we would do and all that fun stuff we were talking about during the movie.
If the film got Rob, then what's following Rob? That's the question I'm asking.
I'm putting my house up for sale next week, by the way.
See?
This-
Yeah.
This was not produced by me to get the word out. In no way. So there's another thing I've heard. I don't know if it's true about this movie. And if you're confused, the demon thing, I'm just going to call it a djinn because I think that's what it was referred to at one point in the press.
A sexual demon. I
Yeah,
can see that.
That would make total sense.
Yeah. We all saw Wishmaster.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
Yeah, sure did.
I'm the only one. Fuck yeah, with Wishmaster and Wishmaster 3. The
Got them all on Laserdisc.
the djinn is a semi-physical, I'm guessing is what we're going to roll with on this, because it can manipulate physical space and harm you and obviously attack and kill you. But it's invisible to anyone who has not seen it. or has not been infected or is cursed.
Impregnated
Let's call it the curse.
by the curse.
Yeah, and the curse is only transmitted from one person to the next by sex. They
Which-
can both still see it, but it's only after the last person in line, the latest sexual conquest.
And that's an open door right there. What qualifies as
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
sex to make it transfer?
Yeah, that's my
Apparently
favorite
not
question.
masturbation because the one guy clearly tried.
Well, technically, you'd just be passing it to yourself.
Can't flush it down the toilet. Bye. Gets eaten by some fish.
Whew, that's a relief.
And back to bed. All right.
So blowies.
So what happens if it's falling the deep and he sleeps with an octopus?
See?
Is it now chasing the octopus?
That's a
'Cause
good
we've all-
question.
Damn it, Ryan.
We've all watched The Boys.
Straight
we
to
know what's up.
bestiality.
So I've thought about this long enough to know the only way you could survive it is to fuck an astronaut that's going into space for an extended amount
Or
of
it
time.
couldn't walk.
It would just be stuck in one
If it's
spot.
required to walk there,
Or it would just be going around the globe.
or move to an island. What if? I mean,
Well, it can
could
obviously
wa-
go through water.
It could probably walk at the bottom of the ocean.
And it swam
Yeah.
after her.
No, it just threw stuff. No, it did. swim.
Yeah, it's
We did. Yeah.
So
It started
I thought
by
about
throwing
water
stuff
too.
at her, which is probably just fun, and then it jumped in.
Well,
So-
what about
I guess technically, if you pulled a James and Allen and
Well-
just lived on a cruise ship,
One more thing I want to add, just for anyone listening that hasn't seen this movie, it is always walking toward you at the same pace, and
about 2 miles an hour?
wherever you're located, it knows and it's going in your direction. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say if you were
Pulled
to
James or Allen?
live, yeah, and then go live on a
Mm.
cruise ship,
Well, I mean, is there a?
you would have to. It would
It's
have to
always
be
moving.
like transatlantic cruises.
But what if you had sex with a dead person?
Well, I think you go to jail for that.
Yeah.
Necrophilia.
Yeah, but you can't.
Then it's not going to have to walk very far to find you.
Only if you get caught.
Curse,
That's true.
if it's possible.
Well, they're already dead, so
Yeah,
you just
can't
fucked a
kill what's
body for no
already dead.
reason.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. What about an inmate on death row? Because what if you passed it on right before they died?
I mean, some people
Yeah.
want
Conjugal
to,
visits.
stake.
But
I mean, the
when-
creature didn't get to kill him, so maybe it can't
Does it
track
skip
back.
them, or does it just stop there? Yeah.
I would think it would stop there.
I feel like Smile stole this concept.
I feel like Smile came later,
It did.
but I was
That's
thinking
what
the
I'm saying.
same
That's why it
thing.
would still a concept.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking the same thing when we were looking at it, but I haven't seen the first one, much less.
There was a time
Second.
limit associated with that one. It was like 7 days
days,
or something
yeah.
like that. Which they probably also hijacked that from The Ring.
The Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was more the ring than.
Yeah. But the concept about it going from person to person and I can't remember all the details, but
Well, is this
unless you kill somebody or that person dies or whatever
Oh,
happened,
yeah.
you kill yourself.
That's the only way.
The transfers, so it's murder and or suicide as opposed to
Banging.
erotic festivities.
Well, isn't this sort of in the same style as The Ring and some of the horror movies that were coming from overseas?
Just less nudity
Yeah.
or more nudity for this
Well,
one.
more nudity in this than the ring for sure. But yeah, no, it's the
That
it's the
style of
supernatural
horror.
stuff that we're not as familiar with, but to them it's like their Dracula.
Yeah.
And our ghost stories are way different than their ghost stories. Clearly,
I mean, Japan does have a suicide forest.
exactly. Where are you guys going on your next cruise?
Japan?
New.
So let's talk about the actual movie, and the way it's shot is you're really following the djinn the whole movie, not the actual person, because it starts with our first girl. When she dies, it goes back to Hugh / Jeff.
Yeah. We're
Who-
assuming that's the girl from the photo or a girl he slept with.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then he passes on to our main protagonist,
Jay.
Jay, who hands it off a time or two, but as far as we are aware at the end, she was the last, and her little nerd boyfriend.
Well,
they're not-
she only told one person that she passed it to what was going to happen, and that guy didn't quite believe it.
Because
You've
it had
not-
been
you've
3
not-
days
Yeah.
plus.
He was not a firsthand witness to anything that had happened. He just sort of knew that it had happened.
He saw
Well,
an
he-
opportunity to smash, and he took it.
He hit the thing with the chair from the beach. He
No, that was the
No, that was
nerdy.
that was the other
Yeah,
kid.
that was a
Greg was
He was over peeing in
urinating.
the bushes.
That's right. That's right. He came back and kicked the door hole.
and all he saw was her shooting in his direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
And he
convinced that
didn't
there was
see-
another explanation for what
Yeah,
was wrong with her,
he had his back to everything going on in that scene.
Okay, that makes more sense.
which makes it even worse that he had sex with her because he didn't believe her.
Yeah, it's.
That was predatory.
I liked how they really what her job, how she did the sex scene with him, because you did the sex part and it's this is feeling good, but then you saw like, fuck, I'm giving this guy a death sentence. Like I liked the way they shot that with her going into that internal
Looks like
struggle
regret.
of it. Yeah, because it's great. It's not on you, but you just killed this guy, and if he dies, you're next still.
But she didn't have that with Paul. So what is that saying about little Paul?
Well, with Paul, do they think they got it? I mean, they leave that open ended.
Yeah. You know, he went
How do
to
you
find
think
his
he-
hookers.
How do you think? Yeah. I mean, those hookers, and that's part of the process here. You have to tell the people. Just
Otherwise,
like
they're
Jeff
gonna
did.
die.
Yeah, or they're going to
Right up.
die, and then it's going to come right back to you. So then we start this cycle all over again.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thought process for the hookers is very similar to the gangbang. If you find a hooker far enough away and give her enough opportunities, granted, I'm assuming the males that are using hookers are probably not sleeping with a whole lot of other people.
Yeah, but
You're
you
Or they have a-
assuming?
can
or they
only
have a
give it to
hooker
one
addiction.
person, though. And then she's done. The first
Right.
person she had sex with after getting it.
He's saying that John probably visits multiple hookers, and you can just
Right.
keep on.
So it's either going to go to straight to him and it's going to be a real short situation, or you're going to find a guy with a sexual addiction who visits multiple hookers, and you get a few people in between
Well, it didn't look like a very busy neighborhood.
until the djinn shows up and murders
Everyone was
everybody on the
dying.
block,
Yeah.
which was apparently 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detroit.
I read in the trivia that the writer is actually a virgin and just expressing his sexual frustration on paper.
I have heard that this is like a PSA for celibacy.
Yeah.
I was going to
I'd
say,
Since-
I just assumed the entire movie was a metaphor for herpes.
I mean, essentially,
You think it's gone, and
that
bam.
shit follows you around the rest of your life, man.
I think this grew out of someone who watched every 80s horror film where every teenager who had sex died.
And then
They learned from it, and that was the basis of this story. You have sex, you die.
I think we just watched that movie.
Yeah, we did.
Scream.
If you were the current target and you let it kill you without having sex with someone, wouldn't it be over?
Nope, because it goes back to the person before you that gave it to you.
Correct.
Well, but that has
It just goes back down
but that
the
has a
line.
dead end also. I mean, if everyone
Right. And
stops having sex and it goes all the way back to the last person alive, and
But they
and
don't
have
wanna
none of them
die.
have passed it on.
But
So-
nobody wants to die, so they're going to pass it on or try their best.
if they
They
know.
do. Yeah.
It's a moral
But
dilemma.
how
sure.
how far back do you go? What happens when you get to the first person in line?
Right. And was that the gin anyway? I mean, in some of the stories, it's like the fucking thing that starts it anyway. So it kills everyone, and then it just starts again.
And how did it kill them? By having sex.
Bubba banging.
Yeah.
Oh, and another approach. I mean, they say you can catch more flies with honey. What if you just romanced it? Convince it not to kill you, but settle down with you.
I think that kid did that with his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
It's great until they shapeshift on you.
Yeah.
So the
Should have had some flowers and candy waiting. That's all I'm saying. Maybe try it. Maybe give it a shot.
the physical / non-physical form of this thing has me somewhat bothered.
Like, yeah, me
Like
too.
hot and bothered, or
No, I'm not bricked up like Paul was all film. It's
Yeah, that guy was
It's-
blue from the waist down.
yeah, he was. It was the moment that the tall guy walked through the door frame and walked through the friends.
But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
kick them.
Yeah.
Correct. And then later is fending these kids off when when he's pulling Jay's hair.
Right.
Not it at that point, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's physical, but not physical at the same time.
So I'm gonna guess that it's one of those. It's not like if you leave it alone, it's gonna leave you alone. But the second you interfere with it doing its job, so to speak, then it's gonna defend itself because it's got places to be. It's got people to kill.
And
He doesn't have time for your shenanigans.
and it didn't mind fucking with you if you fucked with it.
Right. But you leave it be, it's not gonna.
Yeah. The biggest problem I had with this movie is the naked guy on the roof.
That's the biggest problem.
Not because it was a naked guy on a roof.
Well,
Why
I
the
don't-
fuck was this thing that walks towards you at all times?
Up on the
Why
roof.
would it be on the roof?
And it's clearly trying to find ways
Trying to
to
get
get
in the second
the
floor.
house by bashing in windows and doors and stuff.
Yeah, and it
Not
just
climbing.
watches them as she gets in the car, backs out, drives away. It doesn't move.
It should be walking.
It's just watching.
It should be walking.
That scene,
Does it not take a step right as they're driving away?
No,
I was-
not with the rooftop.
I was really paying attention to it this time.
Really, they just wanted to show some bush and some cock and balls.
Some
And I
old,
get it.
Some old dude in American.
Throw it out there for the ladies.
Yeah.
The horror. The true horror of the film.
But there were inconsistencies of what it does. They aren't as bad as some of the people I've heard bitching about it, but it makes noise once. It screams as that little kid coming through into the shed.
Yeah.
Did Michael Cera
So-
scream?
Yeah, Michael Cera
Did-
screamed.
Did it scream or did it just open its mouth kind of like the tall guy in the beginning?
Oh, it made a noise.
Yeah, it's
It wasn't one of the other females?
I don't think so.
Nope, it screamed because his
Okay.
mouth was open and it was a shriek.
Fair enough.
And then, yeah, later on, it was. I guess the throwing thing really doesn't bother me anymore because it started out throwing rocks and shit.
Yeah.
So that doesn't.
I mean,
bother
that's
me.
how it broke the windows and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty consistent on if it's trying to break in, it has no problem doing a window.
Yeah, if it can get in. Obviously, if you lock it out, it can't just smash the door in. It has a limit to its power.
It's also very polite, and it will knock first.
Yeah, that was probably the scene that I was like, I don't like this anymore, with the mom.
Yeah.
Because when she gets to the top of the stairs, it just stops and looks at her, and then goes back to knocking. I was like, oh god, see, I'm getting little. That bugs me.
It's unsettling.
See, it's not the chainsaws that bother me. It's just being followed.
I can relate to that in some ways. It's not the extraordinary stuff that bothers me. It's the things that are just super ordinary.
Well, it's inescapable doom.
Like teeth.
Fucking A.
You're not afraid of teeth?
Velvet rub.
Lost one in a fake dream one time.
Yeah, you did twice.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Pretty sure that was a real tooth though. Or was that fake?
I don't remember. No,
Rob did.
I think it was a fake.
Okay.
I
God, I hope so.
think it was.
Well, so again, just looking at the way this is passed on, through having sex. I mean, every one of them, I think at some point already knew what was going to happen. They knew how they got it. They probably deliberately passed it on, knowingly or unknowingly. But I guess that makes everyone all the way back up the line still guilty of some sort of,
Yeah,
you
you're still shitty.
Well,
some sort of sin that makes them vulnerable to this creature. So
Yeah.
it'd have to go all the way back up to erase
infidelity and
all the
sex
sin
outside
that,
of marriage.
that created it.
With all the goo it squeezes out of people.
Yeah, but how far did it originate? Because if it started 500 years ago, it can only go back so far because people die.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It can only go back so far.
Yeah, there's a limit to it. But
There was a hint in the first house.
again, Do you want to die?
1492.
So that's the other question I had. If you had it and you weren't going to pass it on, if you were going to try and outlive it, how would you do it?
Or at what point do you say,
Or if you're going to go as long as you can.
Biodome.
Huh?
Hermetically sealed environment that it can't break into.
buy yourself 365 days.
How do you get food
Or
in and out
longer.
after that? Yeah.
If
Just,
it's truly a biodome, it would be self-sustaining.
You just have to enjoy paste.
I believe that's called My Own Prison.
And you're right, Rob. Your
Is this a
idea,
Creed
the,
album?
the space station was a good idea as well.
That
I don't know
one-
how it could walk through space. It
Yeah.
can't do
Zero gravity.
Yeah. Even if I got up there, it's just,
that. Even the xenomorphs couldn't do that.
yeah, fuck them up too.
Mm-hmm.
Needed a ride.
My first thought was I'd fly, cross country, stay however long I thought it would take. I would try and do some math. When it was, I'd be like, okay, how fast are we going?
Right.
Get a speed gun, something, anything other than just running away the whole time.
That's
Make a plan.
All you got to do is check your watch a couple times, set a timer on your phone. But they don't give. I mean, we're assuming this entire thing takes place over like a
Couple of weeks, I guess.
2-week time period, give or
Yeah.
take. Because the most it was with Greg. He was like, "Oh yeah, it was 3 days. 3 days. Haven't
Yeah.
seen anything
Yeah,
yet."
3 days.
Yeah.
But like, how far were they? Where
Right. How far is the hospital from?
That's the context we need.
where did he go? Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like it took him that long to get over in the 8-mile region. But if she's walking at 2 to 3 miles an hour, if they only
and
drove,
it's 4 miles away.
yeah, if they only drove a half hour outside of town, and half of it was country roads where you're driving 20 miles an hour,
It doesn't need roads.
yeah, I could see where it's coming to get you in a day or 3.
Right. So if you
But-
go across country, you wait X amount, you wait a month, fly back, but that's your life for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the math.
You could theoretically have
So, like I said-
never-ending loop that you travel.
That would
Yeah.
be a James and Allen situation. Taking a cruise, come back, go to Vegas, come back, take another cruise.
I think that's probably where the creature was
Go to
smartest
Barcelona.
by this being passed by sex, is that all the people that would have approached this scientifically were not having sex.
If you're a smart good boy, you're not out philandering.
Some people, that's their dream, to establish a life over in Boston with some family and then move back
Just be
over
the little
here
kid.
with,
You can shit your
another
pants whenever
family.
you want.
and then go establish yourself somewhere else.
With another family.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're going back to that. You're taking me back to that scene where he's like, where they're playing the trading game. Like you
Yeah.
pick anybody
Trade game,
trade places with. I'd choose the kid. He's got his whole life ahead of him, and that was before we found out.
Makes
about
more sense
the,
now, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now.
And he can shit his pants whenever he wants. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Because he's always shitting his pants.
Yeah.
Which also the first scene, watching it again, I like the first scene a lot. Once you know what she's doing,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
you're not seeing anything. You're just seeing her react. They don't show the creature at all for the first girl.
Yep.
They have some build up music. You assume you're gonna see it,
Yeah.
and then nothing.
It's a really well done independent film. Not that
It
I've
is.
seen a ton.
More now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only the ones we've made you watch.
But even some of the shots I thought were pretty fun.
Yeah. They
They,
did a good job.
they enjoyed a lot of like overhead shots, but saw those a lot.
You know.
But it was
think-
well done.
The acting was really good. It didn't feel put on at any point to me. They seemed very genuine.
Not a lot of overacting.
No. I didn't see overacting.
You usually see that in campy or cheaper horror movies.
And they didn't do a lot of scream queen kind of thing. That wouldn't have bought it. It was not. That's not horror. That's scream.
And a lot of this was reactionary. So it's just those waiting shots for the event to happen, and then their reaction.
Here's my question. What happened to Dad?
They said he
He
died,
died.
but I don't think
They
they,
didn't
said
say how.
Probably from an STD.
Yeah.
Why do all these films have to be the teenage superheroes who have to come together in a group and solve these mysteries themselves?
Stranger Things style.
Just because no one else will believe them. That's what it always. Oh, mom won't believe me. Okay,
Which was
go
the
figure it out yourself then.
Which was the scene where they started playing the music coming through the halls, and suddenly it felt like a Stranger Things
When they were going to the
episode.
pool.
Yeah,
The
the school.
keyboard score going.
Yeah. I don't know what building that was, like a YMCA or something.
The Condemned. Yeah.
Yeah,
The pristine pool area?
condemned. Yeah, the condemned YMCA with a perfectly maintained pool,
Yeah. It was very nice.
because that's just the natural state of pools. They just take care of themselves,
Yeah, that's how mine works.
Except for her pool.
which she made dirtier by cleaning it.
Yeah, she scooped it twice
she
and it
was-
was still caked with.
Not qualified for that job.
So
Yeah.
was the blood in the pool? Was that supposed to indicate that it was like over?
So the first time I saw this, I thought the guy at the end following them was probably it again.
Yeah.
But watching it this time, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but at the very last shot, when they show him for a second, his head's turned to the left
Instead of like full.
instead of staring at them like it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. So it feels like it could go either way. Like if they did that on purpose, it could be shot as yes, they got it. That's what the gin was dispersing in the pool, or no, it was just sleeping.
So all it needed was 2 shots to the head. 3
Yeah,
shots,
another one of those. What did it? Because it got shot in the face like 4 times
Right.
in this movie.
and just got back up.
It just needed
And
water
so-
in its brain.
Like they show her, it was the chlorine.
Maybe that's what it was.
So they show her looking at it, but they never say, or you don't know if everybody else saw the blood or if just she saw.
Well, we know because the one kid was yelling like, where is it? Is it down?" Because he was looking in the pool and it was clear.
Yeah.
And then when she looked in, it was blood.
Yeah, but they came
Milky.
up after she looked in,
I'm st-
and we don't hear anything from any of the other kids after that.
Yeah. Well, you got to leave it open ended.
Yeah.
Which is why they're making the second one.
Well, it's kind of funny
Are
on
they
the.
really?
I think so.
Really?
Shit.
all right.
I don't want them to. I don't. I want them to leave this open ended.
It follows harder,
This one opens at the gangbang, actually.
longer.
Ugh,
It's actually got a triple X rating.
it gains.
Alan's stewing over here on that one.
It grows.
Yes. Oh yeah, I wrote down you could fuck a sailor.
That was your notes.
That was one of my notes.
What about a submariner?
Yeah, you get somebody that's going to be stationed out in the ocean for the next 6 months. You got 6 months off.
Just like the space station, I would think that the submarine, being watertight, should be good enough to keep it out. I mean, it's going to bang on the outside of the submarine, but it might keep you up at night. But you know, you'd be alive.
gonna keep you up at night
but
anyway.
Submarines
Put some headphones on.
is always moving now.
That's what I was
So it's
thinking.
not going to catch up.
Port to
You're,
port.
you're good. Every time you come, you produce a quart.
Bam.
Nice.
Boats and hoes.
Prestige worldwide.
What's that?
You're good until the submarine docks.
Well, yeah, but it's got to dock long enough for it to catch up to it.
Well, by
Yeah,
then
but
it'll
if
be
it-
some other seaman's problem.
Indeed.
True.
Or just,
But if it catches up and it's banging on the side of the submarine, you know, if it's on top of the sub,
oh yeah, just ride the sub.
yeah. I mean, theoretically, just wants to feel the power between his legs.
Just like it's standing on top of the roof, it'd just be standing on top of the submarine, like
yeah.
Like a Bronco.
just riding it.
I think we asked this question at the beginning, but lesbians are safe, right?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We
Did
don't
it
know what
require actual
constitutes
penetrative
sexual
sex?
activity.
Did it just require this person caused this person's orgasm?
Can you spit in someone's mouth? We don't know.
It's a fair question. I don't think that's relevant, but
I feel like based on a couple of those scenes, golden showers are game.
Apparently.
Yeah, I didn't
2 of them.
like why. Why do we need the pee?
Well, he said that it will do whatever it can to throw you off, terrify you, make you think it's someone you know or love.
But multiple piss scenes,
it grossed us out.
It's only got so many flags it can throw.
man.
Well, I guess if you're just constantly walking, you don't really get a potty break.
Maybe it just had to piss.
He's got a point.
And the second one was after it ate.
My head's so innocent. I'm like, why is she leaking gasoline?
I don't know if that's innocence.
Oh, now, okay, that's another approach on killing it, though. What if, instead of getting in the middle of a pool of water,
Set it on fire.
you just stand in the middle of burning concentric rings of fire that has to pass through to get to you?
Mad Max style.
You don't think it'd wait that shit out, or does it always have to be in constant? Nope.
Well,
it
no,
doesn't
it
have
doesn't.
to.
It's
It says
required
on
to
the
come
roof.
towards
Nope.
you.
It changes.
It can be chilling on a roof.
So it just waits on it to burn out.
So it can stop.
then
it
again-
can choose to stop, but at some point it has to move towards you.
I guess. That's where those inconsistencies come in.
I don't know. I think it has to move forward.
What's trivia say?
But it does go up to the house, tries the door, goes over to the window.
To the wall.
So if it can't get to you one way, it'll try
So
another
it
way.
may just stare at you and circle the circle of flames
Circle the
until
pool.
they're
Circle jerk.
Well, that's what
exactly like it did at the pool.
it was,
Yeah.
circling the pool, throwing things at her to get her out, to kind of force her out of the pool.
Yeah. Which she had to have been beat to hell after that.
Yeah.
She got an iron to the face, Home Alone style.
yeah.
Well, I guess the
She didn't look
fire
as bad as
thing-
Marv, though.
Yeah.
What if you just lived in the middle of a compound with an electric fence?
I don't know. It's only one way to find out.
They
It
got
worked
shot
against the
head once
zombies in
and
Last of Us.
got up. I don't.
It did.
True.
Fucking Bill. Represent.
Bill, we need Bill.
Says the film concept was derived from the recurring nightmare the director used to have, in which he would be stalked by a predator that continually walked slowly towards him.
That sounds like nightmare stuff.
Yeah.
Sure does.
There was something going around social media for a little while. Will you take $10 million if you had a snail perpetually chasing you, and if the snail caught you, you die?
So same concept, except
Yeah.
you just get an STD.
This is interesting. The time frame
And you
of
have
the
$10 million.
movie, time frame of the movie is intentionally kept undefined, so it resembles a dream.
Well, see, that's what I was saying. You couldn't
There goes that.
pinpoint anything because it's like, well, is the 80s?
Yeah, the technology was
60s,
weird.
80s.
Yeah,
2000s.
Bouncing
cell
around.
phones,
Clam
So-
e-readers.
clam e-readers.
Yeah, all the
The
all the
shell phone?
television sets may have
It was
contributed
definitely
to
a
the Stranger
clam.
Things
There
feel.
was no flat screen.
Had that 1983 Magnavox.
Yep.
That Sentra was relatively new.
They can't hear you, Alan.
Caprice Classic.
Hey.
That was all you needed to hear.
It
Caprice
has to be in the
Classic.
form of a question. So I'll ask you guys again next time I see you if you thought about it more.
I'm going to lose sleep tonight.
I don't know why. This one, it just stuck with me. It's one of those things. Like, what if you had
It's the recurring dream that you can't, like, you're in a situation and you can't get away.
there's
You
no
can't
way
get of
out?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah.
I don't like this as much anymore.
Cameron, you got any more news off the wire?
No, not yet. Talks
it,
about the
Sally.
mother's face never really being shown,
Yeah, that did not
Yeah.
show it.
which doesn't really matter, but it's just one of those. Why?
Yeah.
So was the mom ever really there?
Damn.
Because they hijacked the mom's car and there was zero concern. Like, we never got a phone call.
Yeah, wasn't a lot of worry from the adults in this.
No.
To James's point of, or whoever was talking about kids getting together and
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when they were going out to the hunting cabin or whatever that was, cabin on the lake,
yeah.
it's like, oh, your mom would be cool with it? She's not even going to notice. She'll have no idea.
She's perpetually drunk.
You know,
That was Greg's mom, not Wino's mom.
Eh,
Maybe they're one and the same.
maybe.
When they were in the hospital the second time, Shell Girl was reading her Shell Reader, and she was quoting some book, which I wonder what book it was, because it was talking about the inevitability of death.
Yeah.
Which technically we all were constantly living with death stalking us. That's a true statement,
Yeah.
not even a horror statement. So this movie probably brings in that theme pretty strong.
I just don't have to look at it.
Especially if it's half naked and urinating on your floor.
Think about it. It's
Clean that shit up.
Final Destination with less supernatural causes.
And more nudity.
And a piping hot soundtrack.
It's no John Carpenter soundtrack. But it was
That's
good.
true. Way more sense.
Said the entire score was produced in 3 weeks.
That sounds right.
That checks out.
Somebody got that keyboard and lit it up.
Fun stuff, man. I appreciate this one. It's rare that like a kind of a good plot, kind of good acting, kind of good cinematography, if you will, like shooting style, all goes together.
What's the last movie we watched that you liked as much as this one?
Oh wow, I don't
And
know.
why is it Thor:
Collateral?
Love and Thunder?
Yeah, probably the first one about 2 years ago. I don't know. That's a good question.
He enjoyed Collateral and Extraction.
Yeah, the movies I'd seen before.
There is a movie that he denied saying was really good, but I put the clip in there to verify. I can't remember which one it is.
Oh, Rebel Moon.
I should add that to Rebel Moon. No, it was really good, guys.
Oh man,
Oh yeah.
one of the best I've seen.
Didn't expect that.
What's the rewatchability of this one for you, Cameron?
Honestly, pretty high.
Okay.
This is one of those. Hey, you want to be creeped out a little bit? Let's watch
You
this.
make Amber watch it?
Oh, she'd hate this.
Just a little creepy.
Piper?
Yeah, Piper would also
She'd
hate
get
this. Yeah, she'd be like, "Oh, that's who's following
She
me."
hangs out with Meryl.
This is Meryl's favorite movie.
But I mean,
She's a fan.
I could easily rewatch that for sure.
Well, you could watch it just to what did you miss?
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be stuff in the background.
You're always looking for. Is that a microphone push?
I thought it would work.
Still
Ryan,
failed.
Hit the lights. We'll look away.
Yeah.
Don't look away. All right. Well, the STDs are spreading here. James, I just assume you're clean. I'm sorry. Anything else on this movie?
I've said my piece.
Can I continue mocking James in private?
Yes.
All right. It follows. Clearly a winner. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And let me know if it's as creepy as we think. And if you think of a better idea on how to get away from it, other than gangbang
In space.
in space.
It's just like Jason X.
In
space. Oh, yes. Good use of Muppet noise. Let us know. All right, Charlie.
A